Welcome, everyone, once again. There once was a king who dreamed a dream, and that dream was so puzzling to him and so important to him that he called to all of his advisors in Babylon to interpret the dream. I did not make up this story. This is a story from Tanakh. Does anyone know which king I'm talking about? I gave you a hint. I have some, Sahava. Nebuchadnezzar Melech Bavel. Thank you so much. King of Babylon. And we know him in infamy. He called all of his advisors. Amongst them were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And he told everyone that he needed help interpreting his dream. And many people stepped up to help interpret it. And they said, well, King Nebuchadnezzar, what was the dream? And he said, I don't remember my dream. It's your job to remember my dream and then to interpret it. And not only that, he threatened to kill all of the advisors who could not come up with his dream that he dreamed and its interpretation. And so this threat sent all of them running. And Daniel and Hananiah and Mishael and Azariah, known in English translation, by the way, as, anyone know what they were called in the English version? Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah? Sahava? Sorry, okay. Have to stump someone, so there we go. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they went into their survival mode, which means they went to pray. And they prayed and prayed that Hashem should help them from the stymieing Gezerah. That night, after they prayed, Daniel had a revelation in his dream. He received from heaven the dream of Nebuchadnezzar, and he was able to interpret it. And when he went to the king, and the king was so impressed that he was able to do this, and the king gave him sanction. And afterwards, he gave forth a prayer of thanks to Hashem, which is in Daniel Perek Bet. And in that prayer of thanks to Hashem, he said an unbelievable phrase that is still beloved upon us today. And it's in Aramaic, but it has enough Hebrew so that people who love Aramaic and people who love Hebrew can equally relate to it. And what did he say? He said, Yahev chachmeta lachakimin. Yahev, Hashem gives, chachmeta, wisdom, to the wise. Hashem gives wisdom to the wise. Now that sounds like one of those stymieing, upsetting tricks that we know about, we've heard about. We just spent one of my classes talking about, like, pray for me and I'll pray for you and you'll be answered first. Pray for me and I'll pray for myself. It's one of those things that sound like a paradox, but isn't. What does that mean, Hashem gives chokhmah, wisdom, lachakimin? Hashem gives brains to the brainiacs. Hashem gives knowledge to the all-knowing. I'm going to keep throwing things off the podium, just how it's going to go. How is that fair? The Gemara asks this question. How is that fair that Hashem promises to give wisdom to those who are already wise? And it tells a story about a rich woman, it's very apropos, who would only lend money to the rich and not to the poor. And why she did that, we're not going to get into that right now. The idea is that a rich person can value things, perhaps, in a different way. But there's an interpretation that I think is more relative to what we are thinking about, and that's written by the Mefarshim. Yahev chachma lachakimin. Hashem gives wisdom to those who are wise. And what is wisdom? Le'ele sheyesh lahem ratzon lahachkim. To those who desire, who crave wisdom. Hashem gives wisdom to those who crave wisdom, to those who pursue wisdom, because those who crave, who desire, who yearn for wisdom, those people are already wise. Ladies, this beach house contains the wisest people in Deal, New Jersey, right now, because everybody here craves wisdom, And everybody here is in pursuit of fulfilling their yearning to know more, to be more, and to do more. And we're so fortunate Hashem gave us this opportunity to provide, to nurture, to give wisdom to all of you who are already so wise. Speaking of dreams, we all know and we've all had this experience of having dreams that are so deep and so important to us that we're afraid to even verbalize them. Around 7 or 8 years ago, I took a gutsy friend of mine, and together we approached what we call in Yiddish a macher, a very important presence in the Ashkenazi community, a builder, a doer. And we made an appointment with him. We waited a while, drove up. I remember driving up to 13th Avenue, going into him in his office. And I gave him my pitch, which was to build a community center for women where women could come and pursue their dreams and learn about anything that they wanted to learn about, a place where they could just be. And he turned to me and he said, "You know what this community needs? It needs another swimming pool. This community needs another wedding hall. I don't know that this community needs a center like you're describing." Dejected, we turned around, walked out, and I remember coming to my car on 13th Avenue, right where I left it, and the whole side had been rammed in by what must have been a truck. So not only was my meeting a complete failure, but my car was smashed up, too. So perhaps that explains why I wiped this entire episode from my subconscious. Paging Dr. Freud, I don't know, we have relationship Rebbitzin here in the audience. Maybe she could help me figure out why, but it seems in retrospect that was something I don't really want to think about anymore. It wasn't a good day. And then, fast forward to the day I was approached by Gail and asked to come in and realize this vision that Kim and Gail had for the community. And we started, and I remember standing here a year ago and being so nervous. Would the women step in, step up, buy in, be wise, and pursue their dreams for us, with us, together? And we began the work in earnest, and I forgot all about it. And that same friend called me up, and she goes, "Tzipori, like, you're doing what we wanted to do." And I had completely forgotten. Ladies, because of you, we're living a dream. And now it's your turn. Your turn for your dreams, and for that we turn to the parasha. Moshe Rabbeinu's last will and testament to Klal Yisrael, and he says, "Re'eh natati lefanecha et habracha ve'et haklala." It starts off like this. Take a look, Klal Yisrael. I'm giving you a choice. You can choose blessing, or you can choose curse. You can choose a life of meaning, or you can choose a life of emptiness. It's your choice. Take a stand right here, right now. Choose who you want to be. And then something fascinating happens. Then in the course of the next 3 aliyot, a word comes up, a concept comes up that we don't really see much anywhere else in the Torah. And it says, "V'samachtem, v'samachtem, usmachtem atem, uvnechem, uvnotechem." You will rejoice. You're going to be happy. As a result of the choice of choosing blessing, you get not complacency, not satisfaction, you get joy. You get the joy of living the life you were meant to live if you step up and follow your dreams, your best aspirations for yourselves, and by extension for your family, for the entire community. The Panovizha Rav Yosef Shlomo Kahaneman, fled Europe during the times of wrath. And he was laid up in a hospital in 1940 when he learned that Panovich, the yeshiva that he learned in Lithuania, went up in flames. And at that moment in the hospital when he was sick and almost dying, he decided he was going to rebuild again. And at that point, he began to rebuild. He got the people together. He got the money together. He started with 5 boys. And today, Yeshivas Panovich is one of the biggest in Israel and in the world. And Rav Herzog, who was then chief rabbi of Israel, heard of his aspirations, heard about what he wanted to do, and he wanted to help him out. He said, "Rav Yosef Shlomo, it's not possible. Things you're trying to do, You're dreaming. And the Panav Jaruf turned to him and said, yes, I'm dreaming, but I'm not sleeping. Ladies, we all have dreams for ourselves. And just as that dream that happened to me so many years ago came true through the chachamim, the chachamot that are here today, I know that it can be true for you. Dream big. Take steps towards making that dream a reality, and you never know where it will lead you. Today, we're going to have the good fortune of hearing from the best and the brightest of the well. One of the most joyous blessings, our students. We're going to hear from our director. And right now, we have the honor and privilege to hear from the Rabbanit HaTzadeket, a guiding light to so many, including myself, Esther Tawachi. Thank you so much, and enjoy.
Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you very much, Tzipora. I just whispered to Tzipora, I had to look around to see who was going to be the speaker. I don't, like to hear those things about myself, but okay, thank you. What a glorious day. What a glorious noon. It's a privilege and it's an honor for me to be standing here. When I was called last year to speak in the well, I also did not dream that it would ever take off to be the way it is today. But looking around, I see that we women as a community, we're really, really great. You know, I grew up in Brooklyn, and I went to an Ashkenaz school. And I'm going to admit something that I never admitted to anyone in the Syrian community, but I'm going to say it over here. I always felt that they were like one tad ahead when it came to education. They were always like one step ahead. There were people who were going to be doctors, and I had friends who were social workers, and I had friends who were psychologists, and I had friends who were even more than that, all kinds of therapists. And I was always amazed how people, girls, women, would run their home, manage their home, and manage to be a professional like that. And I, didn't have those aspirations at that time. I had a family. I was very, domestic. And I loved what I was doing. But when the time came and my children went to school, I took myself and I started to rethink about now, what was I going to do with myself? All my children are in school. I don't have babies to take care of. I get up early in the morning. Thank God I'm pretty organized. I can manage dinner by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. What was I going to do with myself for the rest of the day? And then I had an opportunity that came. I had one of my old schools that I had gone to, college, it was Sarah Schneer College, had sent this form and said, they're offering a women's program from 9 to 12 in the morning for people, mothers who want to finish their education, who want to continue and get a degree. And this way you can work it out. You can be a mom because you would be home by 12 o'clock, but at the same time, you would carry your degree because, you were able to finish it. It was very doable. And I grabbed the opportunity. I wasn't exactly 20, I wasn't exactly 30, but I grabbed the opportunity and I opened up a whole new world to myself. I just feel that we women now have a very similar opportunity. The well is something that affords all of you women the opportunity to be the best, to bring out the best. Now I could say with the well, thank you to Mrs. Gail Sassoon, Mrs. Sephora Weinberger, Mrs. Kim Daba. They've propelled the community to, I would say, a level that even surpasses that community that I was envious of, because we have both. We Sephardic women are very talented and very smart. And if we take these opportunities to become well-rounded and to become educated, then we take ourselves up to another level. Everybody aspires to excel. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, you know, I want to be mediocre today. I want to be, you know, less than average today. Nobody wakes up like that. Isn't it amazing? You know, I have phone calls from people who tell me that their children have very bad sportsmanship, like they're not good in, they have a hard time in sports because they can't handle losing. Now, we have to understand that is God sent. That is given. Hashem made it like that in the world, that a person has a she'ifah, a person has a drive to succeed. So if I cook, I want to make it the best that I can possibly make it. If I set my table, I want it to be the most beautiful that I can possibly make it. If I am learned, I want to be the best. When it comes to my kids, I want my kids to be the top. When it comes to money, I want to make the most money. When I come to decorate my home, I want it to be the best. Why is it like that? Why can't we be satisfied with what we have? And that's a very big question. The rabbis explained to us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, when he created the world, he saw that a person needs, in order to survive, a person needs to accomplish, to achieve, and to attain a level of shalemut. What is shalemut? Shalemut means perfection, completeness. How is it possible for a person to achieve completeness? And the rabbis teach us something fascinating. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created man as a searcher, as a constant, they call a man mav'eh, constantly searching, constantly looking, not satisfied, not happy, always wanting to get more. Because Hashem had this goal in mind. We need to achieve shalemut in life. Shalemut means we want to achieve perfection in character. We want to achieve perfection in raising our home. We want to achieve perfection as a wife. We need to achieve perfection in just taking care of our daily needs. And in order to achieve that perfection, Hashem gave us the ambition and the drive to want to be the best. Comes Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon, the wisest of all men, and he says something amazing. Ish machzor ohev simcha. Somebody who is lacking, he wants happiness. All he wants to do is achieve happiness. He loves happiness. Somebody lacking loves happiness? What does that mean? That means that somebody who's lacking is always in search for happiness, is always in search to fill his emptiness, to fill something inside of him. He's lacking. He's missing. So what does he do? He thinks that he needs maybe another car. Like that man said, maybe another swimming pool, maybe a bigger home, maybe a better business. Maybe that's going to fill my happiness. But the rabbis teach us something amazing. Somebody that has 100 is not happy with 100. He desires 200. He doesn't desire a little more, he desires double. What happens about somebody who has 200? Do you think that he desires 300? No. He desires double that. He desires 400. Why? Because that she'ifah, that constant void inside of him is driving him to constantly look for something to fill his emptiness. So he thinks it's a car. When it's a little kid, it's a candy. Then I want 5 candies. Then I want 10 candies. Now I want a better bike. You know, when kids are bored, all of a sudden they need everything, right? Ma, I've nothing to do. A minute later, they're like, Ma, you know what? My bike is not good. I need a better bike. After a bike, I need a car. After a car, it's a home. Then it's a business. Then it's a dream home. Because that is something that Hashem put inside of us. But what we have to understand is that we have to fill it with quality. We have to fill it with accomplishment, with something that's going to really fill us, with how we're going to achieve shleimut in a different way. Because you can fill it in a way that is going to create more desire. It's like somebody who is very thirsty. The rabbis give it a mashal. Let's say you're very thirsty, and now you go and you drink a little bit of salty water. What happens? You quench your thirst for the first 5 minutes. But after 5 minutes, now you're double thirsty. You need much more. Somebody that runs after materialism and runs after only the gashmiut doesn't fill their inside. But if you take the opportunity to fill your inside, you will feel like different people. You will feel accomplished. You will feel good about yourself. Your self-esteem is going to rise. Very often when I teach parenting, I bring this one piece of information from a certain theorist that says, when you're raising your children, open them up to a lot of opportunity. Open them up to, let's say, to art. Open them up to sports. Open them up to academics. Open them up to dance. Give them a lot of opportunity. Why? Because if you open up your child to just one area, right? Let's just pick art. Right? So the child will grow up with self-esteem. We call it circumstantial self-esteem. When it comes to art, he's going to feel very good about himself, or she's going to feel great about herself. I know how to draw. But let's say she knows how to draw, and she knows how to dance, and she knows how to bake, and she knows how to decorate, and she knows how to cook, and she knows how to learn. Her self-esteem is much greater because it's broader. She has much more to base her good feelings on. The well has afforded this community a dream that really maybe a year and a half ago could have never been possible to even imagine, because the well affords us the ability to become accomplished, the feeling of accomplishment, quality achievement. I'm going to take Joy's class, for example, art, okay? Let's say a woman goes to paint. So she's calm, she comes in, she's relaxed. Joy is very entertaining. It brings out her inner talents inside of her. She has a great morning, the ambiance is right, the women are friendly. What happens? She goes home, she's in a great mood, she serves dinner, she's not screaming at the kids, she's not fighting with her husband. Why? Because she's satisfied inside. She has that feeling of accomplishment. I've accomplished, I've made a beautiful painting. Somebody actually came from Joy's class, and right away she called me up. She goes, "You want to see what I painted today?" And I was like, "I don't believe it. Like, make me one." It's amazing. And she felt so good about herself because she accomplished. Take a different class. Take a class of, I'm going to use my own class because I'm biased. Let's say a girl comes and she learns how to deal with a difficult person in life. And she is struggling at that point, and she gets a couple of pointers on good relationships. What happens? She goes home. Girls tell me, like, the girls that take classes on Tuesday say, Tuesday is my favorite day. It's not because of me. It's not because of what I teach. It's because of them, because they are working to achieve a certain level of perfection that they could have never dreamed of doing. So the girl, let's say, works on herself, and she accomplishes in her relationship. She doesn't answer back. She doesn't fight back. She feels good about herself. That's shleimut. That's perfection. When I was raising my children many years ago, one of my favorite teachers was Chana Cohen. So I learned a tremendous amount from Chana. I must have gone to her class for 15 years and heard the same thing again and again and again and again. One day, when my kids were older, I wrote her a letter. And in the letter, I stated, Chana, you changed the face of my family. Why? Because of you, I came home and I was calmer. I had skills. I had strategies to deal with my kids when they were fighting. I had strategies to deal with them when they were fresh. I had strategies to deal with them when they were bored, and I knew what to do. So looking back, imagine I hadn't had those skills. What would my family have been, what would my family look like today? I'm sure I would have screamed more. I'm sure I would have been upset more. I'm sure I would have been fighting more, right? But because of that education, the entire face of my family looks different. I could tell you that when you come to the well and you take a class, any class, you take Jewish history, you take psychology, you take parenting, you take any class, you will be different people because you will be deeply satisfied inside. And I think this is a very important point because people are always searching and people are always looking and people are never happy. And the truth, we have more than anyone has ever had in history. What is a child missing today? A child has everything possible, and yet they're not happy. And this is really something to think about. This is something that parents need to think about. So parents think, I'll take them on another vacation, and I'll take them on another hike, and I'll get them another bike, and I'll get them a better piano. And it doesn't fill them because a person searches for quality shleimut, quality perfection. We need to open ourselves up and to educate ourselves. Education is empowerment. Education will change the way you work. It'll change the way your minds think. Now, let's say a person is a little bit older and says, I'm going to start now to educate myself. So I'm going to tell you something. There's a great book by Charlie Harary. It's called Unlocking Greatness. And in the book, he talks a lot about the neuroplasticity of the brain. Brain is so powerful. You can change the way your brain works. You can change the way your brain thinks. You can change the way, the direction that you want your brain to go in. And this is an amazing thing because a person could make a complete turnabout at an older age. I did. I already was a grandmother by the time I went back to school. And look, Look where I am now. It's a great feeling, and I have to say, like, when I see girls, you know, let's say mothers my age or grandmothers or mothers-in-law my age, and I see them arguing and I see them, you know, fighting with the other person or telling their daughter they don't have enough, you know, you don't give me enough time, you don't give me this, you don't give me that. You know what I tell them? Get yourself a job. Get into school. Go learn. Your mind is not busy. You're thinking about nonsense. You need to keep your minds occupied. It's something that you can't get away from. And this is the direction that Hashem created the world. It's not something that's new to us. You know, when I was very young, you know, years back, I was just newly married, a very wise Rebbitzin told me something, Rebbitzin Kalmanovitz told me, Aleh Shalom, told me something very wise. She told me, never go to sleep at night without learning one thing. And at that point, I didn't appreciate it. I was like 20 years old. I was like, learning? I'm out of school. I'm not learning. I finished with it. I don't want to learn. I look back at her words, and I see how wise she was. And I see girls, I see the difference. When I see somebody that takes a class and is in control and is focused, their family looks different. And I could say the well at large is something that is going to change the face of our community. It has already changed the face of our community. Look at the girls walking around, educated, feeling good about themselves, focused. This is something that we never had. And now, thank God, thank you to the well, we caught up with the other community. I think we're going to go way ahead because we women are blessed. I could say the Sephardic women, I don't think there's another community that has smarter women than us. We are smart in all areas, and when we put our minds to it, we do it. I really, you know, I was looking over the curriculum that they offered, and it's so impressive. It's so impressive, the amount of work that went into this. The teachers that are handpicked, that are chosen to teach are so fabulous, girls. If you allow yourselves to not be intimidated, to be vulnerable, open yourselves up, say, I want to go learn, I want to change. That's the way you're gonna succeed in life. Imagine your child says, Ma, where are you going today? And the mother says, I'm going to my class, I'm going to school. Isn't that an amazing role model for children? Isn't that something that children look up to? Instead of just doing nothing, talking on the phone, yapping, shopping. It's great to talk on the phone, it's great to shop, it's great to look good, but you need to fill yourselves with some quality achievement. And this is the way Hashem made it. We worry when a child is not motivated. We are concerned when a child doesn't want to reach the top, because the way of life is we need to reach the top. We have a golden opportunity over here with the well. And I have to say, Bezrat Hashem, one day when I get less busy, I'm going to put myself in class. I look at every class and I say, oh, I need computers like number 1. I need, you know, Jewish history number 2. I'd love to take an art class. I'd love to take cooking. I'd love to take healthy cooking. There's so many opportunities. You're going to come home. You'll be in a good mood. You'll be better people. You'll be better wives. You'll be better mothers. You'll be better friends. You'll be a better you. Take the opportunity and take as many classes as you can, because this is the time to accomplish. This is the time to take it all in. We have golden opportunities. Do not let it go. We're about to hear from somebody, Robin Sutton, who actually is going to tell you her personal perspective of how she grew and how she changed through the well. I myself have changed tremendously. Just walking into the building and just seeing the gorgeous women that are there, all striving to learn, striving to become better, has made me into a better person. I'd like to call upon Robin Sutton, and we'll give her our ear to hear how she has accomplished tremendously through the well. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. This past winter, my phone buzzed with a text on our family chat. It was my niece, Jennifer Jamal, inviting us all to a luncheon to introduce our family to the well. What we were introduced was to an amazing organization that offers Sephardic Jewish women a path to finding relevance, enrichment, and personal meaning. They do this by offering a wide spectrum of classes ranging from Torah classes to flower making. Me, personally, I signed up for a 6-week public speaking class called Speak Well by Nicole Wells that I hope will help me now. And she would probably kill me for having this paper. The 15 girls who joined the class came from various backgrounds, each possessing their individual talents. During the class, we all got to learn about each other and how to share our experiences. We laughed, we cried, we formed bonds and an everlasting, unique friendship. You can say we almost became a little family in our home on McDonald Avenue and Avenue S. While I was able to connect with these special people, the real reason I took the class was to do something meaningful with my daughter Violet. We wanted to do something beyond having lunch or shopping. We wanted to do something where we would feel enriched and fulfilled. Thank Hashem, we were able to find that at the well. We enjoyed the winter program so much that we decided to sign up for a lecture this summer by Dr. David Lieberman at the Stella Maris Beach. We learned the importance of communication and relationships, messages that resonated and could be carried on through a lifetime. Through the various programs at the well, we as women are afforded a long overdue forum for academic and spiritual learning and advancement. In this world that's filled with numerous distractions from social media, the well offers us a place to literally disconnect from these distractions and enrich our lives. I am truly looking forward to being back in that special building this winter and taking advantage of all that the well has to offer. And for all of this, we need to give a special thank you to Gail Sassoon. Her tireless efforts, dedication, and vision are why we have the well. She has a pure passion for this endeavor, which you could easily see when you see the joy on her face when you enter the building. She is a very special person who is helping us to all be better women. Thank you, Gail. Now I would like to introduce to all to our next speaker, Sari Hamway.
Thank you, Robin. Good afternoon. I, like Robin, am a proud student of the well. I'm here to take you through what is just the beginning of my journey. Like many other women in our community, I have a busy home and family life. I'm an FIT grad, and I run my own small business. I thank Hashem for it all. I never really thought of myself as missing out or needing something extra. I was just going through the motions of everyday life. I remember just 1 year ago having Shabbat dinner by my dear friend and neighbor, Kim Daba. We were talking about what we were up to, and then she started telling me about a place called The Well. I don't even think I really realized what was coming my way. I watched as my friends and family gravitated to this new community icon. I picked up the fall semester brochure, and I got excited, It looked like so much fun. So season 1, I jumped in head first. I wanted something that was going to make an impact in my life. Esther Tawachi's relationship class was just this. It was practical stuff, and it really hit home. I put it straight to use. It took a minute to realize that this organization was here for me. I heard the voice inside my head saying, I can be more, do more, fit more into my life, and become more. Then came season 1.5. I took Samantha Marenka's class on floral design. She's a pro. You might think that floral design is not really deepening anyone's life, I hear you, but this course was another level. This woman showed PowerPoint presentations, and besides learning the ins and outs of the trade, with the most beautiful flowers I had ever seen, I learned how professionally things can be done. And bonus, not only is mommy a great cook, but she can also do great floral arrangements. I was proud to show my family. Then came another reality. No matter what the topic, these courses just magnified my day and made me feel good. It really is a great feeling when you're actually doing something with great purpose for yourself and for your family. Throughout my journey, I began to appreciate something super special, something that just didn't exist before. I love that we're coming together in one spot. It's beautiful to see the women filling the halls, talking about the wonderful classes we just took, while drinking coffee and eating salads. We never had that. Who knew we needed that? Then the summer came along, and they announced the Well and the Water. And I thought, really? Classes in the summer? I don't know. Then I saw the schedule, the best of the best community pros. Teaching, photography, entertaining, interior design, art, and oh my God, Grace Shalom's giving a class? I was so in. Where do I sign up? Just FYI, I always sign up the day the class is open, so I will not be shut out. So I was one of the lucky few in that course. So I signed up to Sweet Sweet City, and I'm psyched. Definitely not just another baking class. Besides all the delicious desserts I learned to make, including Grace's orange cake that I was dying to master, I was also able to bring it home to my family. In addition, I was able to take a class with my sister Stacy, which was priceless. Stacy and I were able to spend quality time and laugh together as we made coconut cake. We had so much fun. The Well became another taste, another texture I had never anticipated. I also took Yael Keisman's class this summer. She talked about type A personalities and how we affect others in our lives. I thought to myself, wow, do you have me pegged? I listened intently, and I marveled as the other students were writing down her every word. This was so much better than school. We were taking notes about life. I heard Rabbi Mansour say that the Well is making us smarter and ensuring our future, and every day I see it more. It's filling a different void, thoughtfully and intelligently. Today I realize how every class empowers me and fuels me, which is why I'm here on the day of my son's bar mitzvah. I'm powering up for tonight. I'm also crying. Okay, what I've learned most from this journey is that we're all different women with different lives, but we all have the same awesome goal to enrich our lives and the lives of our families. In other words, live deeply, to live deeply. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce my neighbor, my friend, and the president of the Well, Kim Daba.
Ladies, if we haven't said it already, thank you for coming. Give yourself a round of applause for being here. Okay, thank you, Tzipora, Esther, Robin, and Sari. As an aside, the day can't go by without some thank yous. We have countless volunteers here, and while volunteers don't get paid, they are priceless. So stand up, give yourself a pat on the back. You know who you are. Thank you, everybody. I'd also like to thank Mark and Yvonne Franco and the Franco family for showing the women in the community that not only is education important, but a great beach towel is just as important. And now I know everybody wants to race to the lanes and sign up for courses, so I'm just going to tie up this package with a huge bow, a huge pink bow. 2 years ago, my sister-in-law, Corey, wrote a blog post called Family Stories and Why They Matter. It spoke about how the choices we make as an adult, while they seem individual and even random, might actually just be following what we've witnessed from our ancestors, or what Corey called family policy. Decisions like the age we get married, how many children we'll have, whether we go to work or concentrate on our family first, whether we live close to home or abroad. I think I subconsciously followed in my mother's footsteps to have as many children as she did and become a Garmento like she did. So I ask you, how much of what we do is dictated to us by the generations that preceded us? And how much of what we do is really of our own volition? Are we really free to choose our own destiny? While we are women, proud of our heritage, and it's a great history to follow, we know Hashem gave us the freedom to make our own mark. It's undeniable that we can make conscious decisions every day to have a greater sense of purpose, even by just thinking about it. I don't think anyone would disagree. I do know, however, that it's often easier to take the path of least resistance and just go through the motions every day. But that is always the path that leaves us tired and with an indescribable emptiness. I'm sure not one of us here that showed up today wants to take that path. Our parents and grandparents did so much, and yet I know, and you know, we have so much more opportunity at our fingertips today than they did. The question is, what will we do with it? Today, I beg you, push the boundaries in your life and that of your families. Spiritually, morally, intellectually, women have the power to bring our lives and the lives of those around us to the next level. It's not enough for us to have great capacity. We have to use it as mothers, as friends, as wives. Do seize the opportunity to consciously work on your family. Do work on yourself. Run a business, run a home, or both, or be the best at your craft. Maybe start that chesed project you know that the community needs, or just be a better person. Ask yourself, how will you influence your family's destiny today? How will you push the boundaries of your life? What will be that catalyst? Don't be afraid. Don't settle. And don't say, I'm too busy. We have one chance, one life, to be amazing. Gail Sassoon, my friend and the founder of The Well, proves that to me every day. Thank you, Gail. She is raising the bar and changing the face of the community for the better. Ladies, The Well is just the beginning. We invite you to make a history all of your own. Take a look at what we have in store for the fall, and like Sari and Robin, dive in. And now I'd like to officially open registration for Season 3 at The Well for fall of 2018. Ladies, you know what to do. Thank you for coming.